Have you heard about this Medigap Trap? How for many seniors, if you pick the wrong Medicare plan, then you could actually be locked out of getting the type of Medicare plan that you need for life. For people on a fixed income or seniors with declining health, this trap could be detrimental, and it's very important to know about, so stay tuned. Medigap plans are also known as Medicare Supplement Plans. These are plans that supplement your traditional Medicare benefits. And at least 40% of people on Medicare will end up having some type of Medigap plan. This is because regular Medicare only covers about 80% of your medical bills. You still have to pay the other 20%, and there's no cap on that. Now, obviously, most seniors are on a fixed income and they can't afford unexpected high medical bills. So in order to counter that, most people on Medicare will choose to get their Medicare coverage either one of two ways. Either you will go with traditional Medicare and likely add on a Medigap plan, or you'll go with a Medicare Part C Medicare Advantage plan. Now, the choice between these two options is absolutely the most important choice you will make when you go onto Medicare. Not just because it will impact your medical care in the present tense, but because you could potentially be trapped in that type of Medicare coverage. Now, before I explain, I want to do a basic comparison of traditional Medicare and Medigap versus Medicare Advantage. And if you want a more in-depth analysis with a cost comparison, then you should check out this video here, also linked in the video description below. So on path one, you go with traditional Medicare Parts A and B. And in this scenario, you're also adding on a Medigap plan to cover the 20% that Medicare doesn't pay. So on this path, traditional Medicare is still your primary insurance coverage. And because of that, you can visit any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare. There's no networks, no referrals needed. The most popular Medigap plan right now is Plan G, so we'll use that plan as an example. If you had a Medigap Plan G with traditional Medicare, you would be responsible for your Medicare Part B deductible, which is $257 per year, and then after that, Medicare and your Medigap Plan G pays everything else. So if you go to the hospital, doctor, get cancer, etc., the most you're going to pay for any covered service is that $257 per year deductible. Now, if you decide to go down this path, you will likely need to purchase a separate standalone Part D prescription drug plan to cover your prescription medications. And also keep in mind that traditional Medicare doesn't cover things like dental, vision, hearing aid benefits, so neither does your Medigap plan. So if you wanted dental vision coverage, hearing coverage, you would need to purchase that separately as well. Like I mentioned before, on this path, you don't need referrals, there's no networks, there's very little, if ever, need for prior authorization, and very few claims denials. Typically, as long as your doctor says it's medically necessary, Medicare and your Medigap plan will approve it. Path 2 is a Medicare Advantage plan, also known as Part C of Medicare. These plans are managed care plans, so they do work with networks. Some plans will be HMO, some will be PPO. So on some plans, you can go out of network, but you would pay a higher cost share for out-of-network services. Most of the time, Medicare Advantage plans are $0 a month in most parts of the country. Now, you still have to be enrolled in Medicare Parts A and B, you still have to pay your Medicare Part B premium, but generally these Part C Medicare Advantage plans replace your traditional Medicare benefits, meaning when you go to the doctor and hospital, you no longer show your red, white, and blue Medicare card anymore, you're showing your Medicare Advantage HMO or PPO plan card. Your doctor or hospital is billing your Medicare Advantage plan for services, and then you pay whatever that plan has set for a copay or coinsurance or deductible amount for that given service. So kind of pay as you go until you've met your plan's out-of-pocket maximum for the year, which could be up to $8,500 a year or more, depending on the plan. These plans often do have extra benefits built right in, so dental or vision or hearing or gym membership benefits are often included in that $0 a month plan. You often do need referrals. You often do need prior authorization for many services, and it's up to the insurance company whether they want to approve or deny your medical claims. Now, Advantage plans are heavily marketed. I'm sure you've seen the commercials. So they'll advertise these as plans with free dental benefits or all-in-one Medicare plans. But if you end up on one of these Medicare Advantage plans without without really understanding how it works, or if your doctor even takes the plan, then you could potentially be trapped. So this is where the Medigap Trap comes into play. But this Medigap Trap comes into play when folks wrongly assume that they can just switch back and forth every year during the open enrollment to whatever plan they might need for that given year. And in most cases, that is not how it works. So when it comes to Medigap plans, also known as Medicare Supplement Plans, these plans are generally medically underwritten plans in most states. So what is medical underwriting? Medical underwriting is the process in which an insurance company can evaluate your health and your health history in order to determine your eligibility for coverage or your premium rate. Now, there are a few states here in which medical underwriting generally never applies for Medicare supplement insurance. But if you don't live in one of those states, then you could be subject to medical underwriting if you're trying to get a Medicare supplement plan. In most states, you only get one opportunity, that's one chance in your lifetime, to purchase a Medicare supplement plan without medical underwriting, where you're not asked to answer any health questions at all on your application and you are automatically approved at the preferred rate. And this is during your Medigap open enrollment window. This is based off of your Part B effective date. So whenever you started Part B of Medicare, you get up to 6 months from that Part B effective date to enroll in any Medicare supplement plan that you choose with any company in your area, and you'll automatically be approved. But after that window closes, the insurance company can ask you health questions on your application. And depending on your health, you could just be denied for coverage, or you could be charged a much higher premium. So if you start off with a $0 a month Medicare Advantage plan because you're in really good health and you figure you're gonna barely use it, and then later on you get sick and you want more comprehensive coverage, you wanna be able to choose any specialist that you want to see, and you decide you want to switch over to Medicare supplement insurance with traditional Medicare, you might not be able to. You might be stuck, you might be trapped, you might be locked out of getting a Medigap plan, depending on what your health issues are. So Medicare Advantage plans are always calendar year contract plans. That means that when you enroll in a plan, you're generally locked into that plan for the remainder of the calendar year. And after that calendar year, you can choose to drop your Medicare Advantage plan and go back to traditional Medicare. But if you can't medically qualify for a Medicare supplement plan, then you would be responsible for that full 20% that traditional Medicare doesn't pay. Now, there are certain situations called guaranteed issue right situations. These are certain types of life events that would allow you to get a Medicare supplement plan without medical underwriting if you have experienced a certain type of life event. You get a small window in which you can purchase a Medigap plan without that medical underwriting. One of these is also known as trial right, which I talk about in this video here, where if you are brand new to Medicare Advantage, you might be able to drop that plan within the first 12 months and get a Medicare supplement plan. But it amazes me every year how many people are really surprised to find out that they are essentially trapped in their Medicare plan because they can't health qualify to get the Medigap plan that they want and need. Now, the answer here, of course, is that ideally you would make an educated decision that's best for your needs whenever you're brand new to Medicare. But if you didn't choose right the first time, then it's absolutely worthwhile to speak to a licensed independent broker that works with both different types of plans and many different types of insurance companies to help you determine the proper plan for your needs and your budget, not just now, but in the long term as well. And remember, whenever you work with an independent broker, the service should always be free of charge. If you're talking to an agent or broker that's trying to charge you a fee to work with them, beware, run. That's not allowed. Our service should always be completely free because we get paid from the insurance companies, kind of like a finder fee, if and when we do help you enroll in a plan. Now, there's also another type of Medigap trap that comes into play, and this is for people who purchase a Medigap plan, but then they find they are stuck in a plan where the premiums are going up and up, higher and higher every year to the point where it becomes unaffordable for them. And because of medical underwriting, you may or may not be able to switch to a different or lower cost Medigap plan. It's going to depend on your health in most states. Now, Medigap plans can vary in cost quite a bit. It depends on where you live, your age, whether you're a smoker or non-smoker, what plan you choose, and which insurance company you buy it from. Typically every year, right around your policy anniversary date, you will get a premium rate increase. And that's going to be based on things like market inflation, your increased age, and the loss ratio of the insurance company. Meaning how much money did they pay out in claims that year versus how much money did they collect in the form of monthly premiums from their policyholders. Now, your Medigap rate increases aren't based on your health or your medical usage specifically, but they are based on the group of enrollees on that given plan letter with that insurance company in your state. Now, older data showed that Medigap rate increases over a 10-year period fell at about an average of 3.8% per year. However, recent data shows that in 2024, over half of Medigap insurance companies were giving double-digit rate increases to policyholders. And seniors that live in states with higher Medicare spending will generally see bigger rate hikes in their Medigap premiums. So if you're on a Medigap plan where the premium has increased significantly, then it absolutely makes sense to shop around for different Medigap plan options. Now, you could look for the same plan you have now. Let's say you have a Plan G and you want to stay with Plan G. You can shop Plan G rates with different insurance companies, or maybe you have a Plan G and you want to save even more money by going to a lower coverage plan like Plan N. That's another option for you. But in most states, you will have to pass through medical underwriting to make that change. And you can do that at any time during the year, 365 days a year. There are some states that have special rules as well, like a birthday rule or an anniversary rule that would allow you to change your Medigap plan without medical underwriting once a year, every year. But one common question I get is, what does this medical underwriting look like? Do I have to take a health exam? What types of questions will they ask me? And what conditions would count against me if I wanted to switch my Medigap plan in the future? Well, that can vary from one insurance company to another. But in general, when it comes to medical underwriting, you never have to take an exam. It's going to be a list of health questions that are asked on your Medigap plan application. And additionally, they're going to pull up your health history in the Medical Information Bureau database to look at any past diagnoses, medications you've been prescribed or are taking, etc. On the application, you'll be asked a list of yes or no health questions. And in general, if you have recently had cancer, heart attack, stroke, COPD, if you use oxygen, if you have diabetes with complications like neuropathy or certain types of heart conditions, then you may be declined in medical underwriting. Now, it can vary from one insurance company to another, so that's another reason it's very important to talk to a knowledgeable independent broker that's familiar with this underwriting criteria among the different insurance carriers. So if you are wanting some assistance in finding the best Medicare plan for your needs, your budget, we are here to help. My team and I are licensed in 46 different states. Our service is 100% free of charge. We work with many different types of Medicare plans, and we'd love the opportunity to assist you. This Medigap Trap is one of the things that surprises so many seniors, so it's important to know about in advance so that you don't get an unnecessary surprise later on down the road. I hope this video helped explain that to you. Please share it with a friend that might find this useful, and leave all of your questions and comments for me in the comment section below. I love hearing what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.